Can't find out what to buy at the computer store? Benjamin Rockwell's got the answer. And now, with the quest of enriching your experience with computers, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The phone number, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-6373. 888. The website, computertalkradio.com. computertalkradio.com. Later on this hour, we're going to be talking about iPhone headphone adapters. We're also going to talk about some of the lies that you and I are telling every day. And, I've got a little bit of a commentary on that one because it's getting bad. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's up to you. You tell me. Again, go to computertalkradio.com. You can scroll down to where it says Contact Us, and I will get back with you. Whatever your questions, whether it's tech stuff or something we talk about, whatever. I'm here to help you. Coming up next this hour, we're going to there's a particular topic that I've done in the past, and it is with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and they have a bunch of tips in regards to what you do if the police come knocking on your door and they want to look at your tech. Well, it may not even be there. It may be when you're out and about and they say, "Hey, can you hand me your cell phone?" And what can they do? What is the whole world about warrants and stuff like that? And I'm not a lawyer. But there you go. That's what that's going to be all about. One of the other things that, or let's dive into the news, really. One of the things that really got me sparked off on this whole legal front is it's our headline news item. Now, you may have heard this particular item that was presented by, yes, President Obama back in 2013, specifically June 19, 2013. And here's the text. Here's exactly what he said.
This is not a situation in which we are rifling through the ordinary emails of German citizens or American citizens or French citizens or anybody else. This is not a situation where we simply go into the internet and start searching any way that we want.
Now imagine the fact that he said that, and yet if you are using Yahoo Mail, it has been released that Yahoo built a custom software program to search all of its customers' incoming email for specific information provided by the U.S. intelligence officials. Now, mind you, they're scanning all of the email, and this is basically a major big deal. This is a matter of the first case where a U.S. internet company has agreed to a spy agency's demand by searching all arriving messages, as opposed to, well, yeah, scanning small certain accounts, examining certain things, and so forth. They basically said, okay, we'll scan everything. Now, what has come out of this is that Google and Microsoft have said they said no, and I'm flabbergasted. I'm just I'm astonished, and yet I shouldn't be. I should not be surprised by this at all. None of us should be surprised, but yet there it is. A Galaxy Note. We talked about this last week, so I'm putting this right up front real quick. A safe Galaxy Note was on an airplane, and it also caught on fire. This is a situation where Samsung's story may continue. This is a big concern to a lot of us. So I'm keeping an eye on this. This is a situation where we've we've had various occurrences of these phones bursting into flames. We've seen this with other things too. Not to really say this is a problem just with phones. Laptops have had this problem for many years now. It's been quite a while. As a matter of fact, the TI-99 4A, this is the Texas Instruments computer that was the personal computer back in the, I'm going to say about 83, 84. I'm doing this from memory. I wasn't expecting to talk on it. But the anecdotal story, I don't know how legitimate it is, but the reason why it had its major downfall was because there was a big, huge news report that talked about how a young man was seriously, lethally shocked by the computer. Well, the extension of that was that he was dripping wet, having come out of the shower after without drying off, and basically, worked with the computer, played with the computer, and water and electricity don't really go well together, in case any of you were not quite sure on that. Now, Google they've released or they announced the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel XL. What are these? These are Google's new Android smartphones. So we're keeping it still with that smartphone things. Hopefully it's not going to burst into flame. No, it's Google, not Samsung. They have made a number of different changes. This is the first phone that has been built by Google inside and out. And they've made some interesting changes. They do have a fingerprint sensor. It's on the back. Now, if you have an Android phone, you're familiar with the fact that the major home button is actually on the back of the phone. So that's basically something we would expect from them. The pricing seems to be about in line with what you would pay for an iPhone or a Samsung phone. That's, of course, with or without flames. That's, of course, another story altogether. I'm so bad today. I can't believe I'm saying some of these things. But they are basically looking at the concept of doing their own fully run phone. This is kind of neat for Google. This is just another phone, though. That's my biggest concern. I'm going to follow this. We're going to see how well it takes off, and we'll keep you updated. Panasonic has come up with a very, very interesting television. I normally don't talk televisions, but they have put together something where they have gone through and utilizing something called OLED. That's organic light emitting diodes, OLED, and this entire television screen is clear. Because OLED works differently than LED. LED requires a light, a backlight. The light sits behind the screen, and it provides all of the brightness. So if you've got your iPhone, now mind you, some smartphones have OLED screens already. You've got your iPhone, well, it's actually backlit. There's a light behind all of the words you're seeing. On an OLED screen, it provides all of the light through each of the individual pixels, which is, of course, quite cool. Put all that together, and that means you can have a screen that is, well, it's not perfectly clear. It looks like a tinted piece of glass, though. And they put this together in a nice arrangement in a bookcase, so they could adjust it, and you could actually put something in there behind the bookcase. So I'm telling you, this is an exciting item. This is probably one of the better things I've seen in television in a long time. And they say that it is basically so bright and so clear that it's almost indistinguishable from the regular television set that you might normally see. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be one of the one of the things I'm going to follow. I don't know how successful it's going to be, how well it's going to take off, but we're starting to see this concept where we may have clear screens with OLED built into them. This may be sort of the precursor to some very nice, fancy heads-up displays in our cars, maybe at the office. Although I don't know how it views on the other side. It might be one of those situations where we've seen kind of that sci-fi thing in TV shows TV shows and also movies like Minority Report. So we'll be tracking all of that here on, of course, Computer Talk Radio. Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com. Your computer, your smartphone, whatever digital device you hold has vast amounts of personal information about you, your company, your employer, your family, whatever it is. When we talk about personally, though, this is sensitive data that is worth protecting from prying eyes, including those of our own government. It's kind of sad that I have to talk about this thing, but the Fourth Amendment and the Constitution protect you from unreasonable government searches and seizures. And what I'm going to talk about extends through your computer and all of your portable devices. Of course, the website, computertalkradio.com. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm a computer nerd, but I'm also very fascinated by this entire list of different suggestions that EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, has put out for all of us. So many of these different things in regards to the Fourth Amendment are put there, and we hear about these things, but how do they really work in the real world that you are free from unreasonable searches and seizures? What do you do if the police or other law enforcement officers show up at your door or pull you over or are dealing with you and they want to search your computer? Again, EFF.org has this great guide. I'm gonna list the questions verbatim, and I'm gonna paraphrase the answer from what they have here, because it is so important that you know this. I'm going to comment on it here and there. So a lot of what I'm giving you is more of my own knowledge and my own feeling in this regards. Remember, anything you say can be used against you in a court of law, criminal or civil. And before you speak to any law enforcement official, if you even think, if they start questioning you, you really want an attorney there. There's a video out there that I reference every once in a while out on the internet about do not talk to the police. I think if you search YouTube, you'll find it. And it's an attorney who is working with a police officer, and they're both saying don't talk to the cops. Why don't you do this? Well, here's the thing. Anything you say can be used against you, and will be. Here's the first question. Can the police enter my home to search my computer or portable device like a laptop or a cell phone? You remember that Fourth Amendment? Well, no, they have to have a warrant in most cases. They have to have a warrant unless you consent to it. They say, can we come in? Yeah. Can we look at your computer? And you say, yeah, sure, why not? Then they can do whatever they want. Yeah, the other option, of course, if they have probable cause to believe that there is incriminating evidence on your computer. I mean, if you're committing crimes, at this point they're probably going to be having you in handcuffs and stuff like that. You never know. But if you've been doing something illegal, at this point it's over. They've got an idea. They're sniffing around. Question: what if the police have a search warrant to enter my home, but not to search my computer? Can they search it then? Well, okay, so this is kind of a neat thing because no. The warrant specifically will spell out what it is that they are allowed to search. Now, sometimes the warrant will authorize them to search for evidence of a particular crime. And at that point, if they think it might be on your computer, sometimes the courts have said, the cops can go forward. They can do this. And there is sort of an interesting approach on this. If they're searching your home and they observe something in plain view, whether on the computer or whatever, that leads them to believe that the information they're looking for is on the computer or on the smartphone or whatever, then they can take it for further examination and rely on their observations to get a warrant. And again, of course, if you say, go for it, then anything at that point, if you consent, at that point they can do whatever they want. So the key thing here is don't consent. Now, what if you don't consent, but somebody else let them in? Your roommate. Here's the question. Can my roommate, guest, spouse, partner allow the police to access my computer? Well, these days it's becoming more and more that way. A third party can consent to various searches as long as the officers reasonably believe that the third party has some level of control over this thing that's going to be searched. And this is one of those things where so many of these things sort of evolve. If it's a shared computer, then the computer for my wife and I, if we both use it, if she has access, well, she's demonstrating she has some control over the thing that needs to be searched. She could let them in. Yeah. This is one of those things where, look, it's going to happen. What if the police want to search my computer, but I'm not the subject of the investigation? Okay, this depends on a number of different factors. If they have a warrant, if you consent to this, if they think that anything is on there that might be destroyed, then they can. And regardless of whether you are the subject of an investigation, regardless of if you're involved or not, you can always have a lawyer present. You can always seek counsel. And this is one of those things which I strongly suggest. If the cops are knocking on your door and saying, hey, let's take a look at your smartphone. Why? No, don't ask why. Ask for your lawyer. And be careful, because now we've found that they can compel you to provide your thumbprint to let you in. I know somebody who's actually gone through, he's got a smartphone, but he's removed the thumbprint sensor. Yeah, that's right. He's removed the thumbprint sensor from his smartphone so that they cannot compel him to provide the thumbprint. They can ask him for the passcode, but he's got it set so if he enters it in wrong 10 times, poof, the data is gone. Now they've got ways around that and stuff like that, but kind of creepy. I think he's maybe mildly paranoid, but I know a little bit more of the situation and the history there, so maybe not all that paranoid. Who knows? Can I see the warrant? This is the next question that the EFF puts forward, and the answer is yes. 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 Read the warrant. Of course, you can have your attorney read the warrant. You can call your attorney and say, hey, they're coming in here. I need your help. Now, of course, they've got to knock. They've got to announce entry, and you need to be present, usually, for that warrant. But here's another one. Can the police take my computer with them, my device, and search it somewhere else? Yes. Yes. As long as they have the warrant, they can do whatever they want, really. As long as it's part of a search. They can't destroy it, but they can take an entire copy of your hard drive. As a matter of fact, I remember someone who wanted to do, for business purposes, they wanted to do a lot of hard drive cloning. And it was a matter of restoring a lot of programs that were installed and then restoring all of that on a regular basis. And they were doing, it's a long, convoluted thing, but they had some extra money, and they said, hey, I want to get one of these hard drive copiers, and money is no object. I'm like, okay, look, let's get this one. He goes, hey, these guys have this one, and it doesn't leave any traces whatsoever. This is what the cops use, isn't it? Yeah. He said, that sounds so cool. I want that one. I'm like, you're insane. No, he wasn't insane. But it was very fun to play with that tool and to have some of the conversations with the company that made that tool. Yeah, they can make a perfect image of your hard drive and all of the data there. Yeah, it's really interesting. Well, more of this here in just a moment, here on Computer Talk Radio. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm not an attorney, and I don't even play one on the radio. I'm a nerd, and everything I'm talking about and have been for the last segment and this segment is all from EFF.org. It's an entire list, and it's my own commentary. It's my own version of what they're doing as far as the questions in regards to if the cops come knocking on the door and they want to look at your computers, your technology, and this is something that is it's something I covered a while back, and then somebody else was asking me questions on some of this stuff, and I said, I need to cover this again. For instance, again, the question, do I have to cooperate with them when they are searching? And I'm going to combine that with the next one. Do I have to answer their questions when they're searching my home without a warrant? So do I have to cooperate with or without a warrant? And the answer is no. You do not have to help them. You can't interfere with them. You can't get in their way. You can't do anything that would be an obstruction or trying to destroy evidence. So you can't lie to them or any of that. But here's the thing. You are entitled to have the names and badge numbers of the officers. You're entitled to have information to know who is searching your home or your car, or, well, in this case, maybe it's just your smartphone, your laptop. And this is one of those things where don't answer questions. You don't have to. If you answer them, you've got to tell the truth. But if they're questioning you, if they're basically looking for information anything you say can be used against you, and there are going to be times when some of that information is going to be used against you even if you haven't committed a crime. Because, yeah, they're there on a fishing expedition. Sometimes. If the police ask for my encryption keys or passwords, do I have to turn them over? Well, this starts getting very tricky. The government, the judge, a grand jury, they might be able to basically compel you to provide the information. They can compel you to do that. But it's a very tricky thing. That's where your attorney needs to get involved. There is the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment allows you to be free from self-incrimination. And turning over passwords and encryption keys may not actually incriminate you. So providing that information may not be incriminating. So this is a situation where, again, you have to get an attorney involved at this point, especially since now they're saying that they can compel you in many cases. And this is something that's being explored right now. Here's the next one. If my computer is taken and searched, can I get it back? Okay, there is a nice answer that's provided by the EFF. I'm going to give you the real answer. Don't bet on it. Look, if your computer was seized and it has anything on there, by the time you get it back, it's going to be sold. I will tell you, it takes a matter of a year or two to get through some of these trials, and this is just basic small stuff. If it's a big one, it may even take longer. Okay, so you've got a 3-year-old computer, and 2 years later you're trying to get it back. You're going to spend all kinds of efforts with the courts on this to get that information back. Now, there's information on there that may be valuable to you, the family pictures and stuff like that. That's why I say, hey, have a backup. Do a backup. As a matter of fact, I keep a backup myself, and it is nowhere near my computers. I don't talk about this very often, but I have a backup in a place which nobody knows, save myself and my wife. And we keep that off-site, not for any other reason than we want to make sure we always have access to our data. It's pretty basic and pretty simple. There are important pictures that we have. Do we do anything wrong? No, not at all. That doesn't mean that a police officer isn't going to come along and say, hey, I want that information. I have no idea why somebody would want it, but, I never know. So, what about my work computer? Well, you've got some protection from the Fourth Amendment in your office or workspace, but what about your own company? The company that you work for, or maybe you've got a business. Are they investigating your business, or are they investigating you? And there's a lot of stuff. There's is different expectations of privacy all the way along, and this is a situation that can get into very tricky categories. What about the rights of the company? This is one of those things. You may not want to be the person who consents to a search on an investigation to your own boss, to your own company. So it gets into a tricky category. Again, get an attorney. I've been arrested. Can the police search my cell phone without a warrant? Well, who knows? They may take everything that's in your pockets, anything that's on your possession. And some courts have said, yeah, if they can get in the phone, they can take all of the information that's there if they can get in. So that's a case for doing the passwords. Sort of a case for keeping anything important off your phone. Can the police search my computer and portable devices at the border without a warrant? And yes, that's actually a pretty scary one. You go across the border, you fly to France, and you're coming back from France or Germany or wherever else. And you're going through customs. Yeah, you have no Fourth Amendment rights, Believe it or not, that's what's been held for a long time now. It's being reaffirmed that you don't have those rights until you are actually in the country. And in an international airport, you may not truly be legitimately de facto in the country. It gets kind of a weird kind of thing there. And can they take away your electronic device without a warrant at that point? Yes, the federal courts, the Supreme Court has said yes. They can take that stuff away for search and do whatever they want with it. This list, everything I've covered, is not a bed of roses. It's not all that great, but it exists. Hopefully you're a little bit more informed now than you were, half an hour ago. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
Keith M. Sedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373, 888. Keith M. Sedor joins me now here on Computer Talk Radio. And Keith, what is going on in the world of Apple this week?
It's very interesting, Benjamin, because as we sit idly by, waiting to hear an announcement that we're all hoping for new Macs next week, specifically the brand new MacBook Pro with the rumored OLED touchpad replacing the F keys, Apple has once again been named the world's most valuable brand for the fourth consecutive year in a row, which is very cool. So they're bigger than Google. They're bigger than Coca-Cola, which has been around for more than 100 years. And they're bigger than Microsoft, a day I've waited for in my career for over 20 years. I am vindicated.
Yeah, all right.
But I digress. This is also a somber occasion. If for ever brief a moment, we will take a moment to remember the life and the legacy of the late, great Steve Jobs, who passed 5 years ago this week.
Oh, wow.
And I have to say, for all the people who would compare today's Apple is not Steve Jobs' Apple, or Tim Cook's doing this or not doing that, I think Tim Cook has done an amazing job living up to Steve's legacy. And the work he continues to do is a testament. Although Steve would not have approved of a investor dividend, I'm certainly happy to get my $2 or $3 quarterly check for my one share of Apple that I own.
Yeah, we should probably note that somewhere that you do own a share of Apple.
Actually, no, it's not share. It's 7 shares now because my wife, for our 1 year anniversary, which was the paper anniversary, got me this amazing gift of a single stock certificate from Apple from oneshare.com. And when it's split 7-1, I now own 7 shares of Apple stock.
Fair enough. So yes,
I'm rolling in those Apple billions.
Yes. Oh, man.
But Apple actually has, I won't say infuriated, but Apple has drawn the ire of some of their fans of late with the latest offering of the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, in which they have dropped the 3.5 millimeter audio jack.
But all we have to do is we just take out a power drill. And no. Hold on. We should tell everybody right now, if you've seen that video, it's not real.
that's just nature's way of thinning out the herd.
Oh, man.
I'm serious. I mean, if you're that dumb, you almost don't deserve to have a device that cool. But the lack of the audio jack notwithstanding, and the fact that Apple gives you a Lightning to 3.5 millimeter adapter if you want to use headphones or plug it into an aux port in your car, it left a lot of people asking, well, how am I supposed to charge it while using my lone Lightning connector at one time?
Well, how am I supposed to charge it while having my only Lightning connector? I forget the exact wording you used. Just go with it.
And it was so long ago, so why not? Well, along comes Belkin with a really cool adapter called the Belkin MFI Lightning Audio Plus Charge. And here's the cool part, Rockstar adapter cable. And basically what this adapter cable is, it is a Lightning plug with an adapter on the other end with 2 Lightning ports. So you can then plug your charging cable into one side and your Apple 3.5 millimeter to Lightning adapter in the other. And they are charging only $38 for that, $37.99 from Belkin.
$37, $38. Oh, man.
But you know what? Belkin does make a good product, and they have worked directly with Apple in developing this product. So I'm very confident that the Belkin adapter will work very well, Benjamin. Now, if $38 is a little steep, there is a Kickstarter for a product called the ILDock. I heard one person at one podcast. Yes.
It sounds sick.
Yes, but it's actually not. It's sickly cool is what it is. Actually, the I is for iPhone and the L is for Lightning.
Okay.
And for only a $10 contribution to the Kickstarter, you can actually get your own ILDock. And you're saying, well, what is an ILDock? The ILDock is an adapter that plugs into the Lightning jack on the underside of your iPhone 7 and has both a 3.5 millimeter audio jack and a Lightning port for charging. What's cool about this is that there's no additional cable tethering it, so it's very tiny and very compact. While this is a new company, I do like the fact that Belkin is tried and true, but I love the compactness and the price point of the ILDock.
Real quick, speak to the ILDock Plus, because I'm looking at that, and I think that is the one I want.
Well, the ILDock Plus, Benjamin, is the Swiss Army knife of adapters because it has Lightning on one end, and the underside looks like an adapter you'd plug into your Mac. It has a USB port, it has an SD card slot, and a micro SD card slot, which I believe they're now calling the TF card.
No, the TF is the old name for it. Micro SD is the current name. It is
the current.
Yeah.
It's on their Kickstarter, they list it as the TF port.
Yeah.
As well as a 3.5 millimeter jack and an additional Lightning jack for charging. I actually think something that big and unwieldy might be better served being put into a case, not unlike the Mophie Juice Pack where your battery is just encasing your iPhone.
Sure, I like that.
That would be pretty cool. And finally, they do make another one called the ILDock Duo, which basically has the same ports out of the Belkin Rockstar adapter, which is 1 Lightning male to 2 Lightning female.
Very cool. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor.
His website, mymacguru.com. We'll be back with more Computer Talk Radio in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com. Our entire world continues to change, and some of the communications that we're doing really are supporting the concept of actually lying. Yes, it's only a white lie. It's only a small little thing. It's just this minor item that we're tossing out there. It's so innocuous. I mean, we should just forget about it. It's not even important. We shouldn't even be discussing the fact that it's just a minor little, just the shortest lie of all. Yeah, I mean, and it's only for a brief moment. We do this, however, on a daily basis. We're doing this so often that I wonder if perhaps we are breaking down that subtle little thing within our own little hearts. And I'm saying little hearts because really the more we chip away at the truth, the more we move along some of these directions, the more we work in these different areas and arenas, we start telling more and more lies. And each time we tell these lies, no matter how minor, no matter how small, I think we might be chipping away at the ability for us to tell the truth. What am I talking about? I've gone on now for almost 2 minutes, and I still haven't even told you what the lie is. This lie, but it really is one of the biggest lies out there. It's a minor lie. I mean, yes, it's close to the reality. It's close to the truth, but it's still a lie. And it comes in a variety of forms. It comes in so many different directions. Now, you may hear this and you may say, I've gone off the deep end. You may say that this entire comment that I'm going to tell you is a lie. You may say that it doesn't matter. The intent behind what we're trying to communicate is really all that matters. But yet, I know this, and I've known this for a while, that anytime somebody sends me this, anytime I see this, it's not the truth. It's not what is really happening. And yet we persist. We continue doing this again and again and again. What is it? Yeah, you're sending a text message, and it reads LOL. Yeah, laughing out loud. Are you really laughing out loud? ROTFL. Are you really rolling on the floor? Forget about all of the other variations. There's a ton more of those variations. But when we do this, there's a couple of crude ones along the way as well. Are we breaking down our ability to tell the truth? Are we breaking down our ability to keep not only a clean mind, but a clean heart? I don't know. I've got this gut feeling, though, that maybe it isn't the best thing that we should be doing. But maybe that's just me. Just little old me, the guy on the radio, Benjamin Rockwell, with Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. TheRadioFactory.com.
Fortunately, someone is available to explain all this technobabble. Translating technobabble to English, your translation expert, Benjamin Rockwell, is here with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-6373-888. I'm a computer nerd. But one of the things that I also enjoy doing is I enjoy utilizing the web to improve myself. There are a number of different websites, number of different ideas and ideals of how to really improve your life, my life, all of the different things that we do out there. Some of them are going to be very obvious. Some of them are going to be a little bit off the beaten track. We can talk about concepts like Evernote, and we can talk about one of the regular ones that I talk about on a regular basis, which is lifehacker.com. But I wanted to stretch out. I wanted to expand on more than just the regular ones that I've covered on the air, and I wanted to give you sort of an idea of the extra issues that are out there, the extra, not issues, but the extra websites that may make your life a little bit better or a lot bit better. We're all looking to do better in life. I mean, yes, we can go. One of the websites that I utilize on a regular basis is BibleGateway.com. Okay, yeah, so I'm a Christian, and I do my Bible studies and things like that, and we can go in that direction. But there are also other directions in our lives that we can work with. I mean, Bible Gateway is awesome. Any different translation of the Bible, any of the books of the Bible, and you go on through, and whatever languages too. You want to put up a quote from the Bible, but you want it in Spanish instead of English because you're a Spanish speaker or French or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. They've got it. They've got it available. You want it in Old English? Yes, thine and thou and thee and all of that. Yeah, King James is up there, but a number of other variations. Very cool. HDTV. You're probably familiar with this if you have cable television, home and garden television. Well, they've got an impressive website, HGTV.com, and a lot of that is about decluttering. There's ideas for organization, and you can put together all kinds of different things. One of the things that they had a while back was a Rate My Space section. And you could actually go through and look at sample rooms that other people have done and get ideas for decluttering your life. I mean, this entire concept. How many of us out there, how many of you out there, I'm part of this. I have a problem with clutter at times, and that's okay. I mean, we have to address these problems. We have to look at them. We have to figure out what our problems are and then solve them. There's another website out there, ehow.com, EHOW. It is basically kind of like email, but it's ehow. This is a giant, huge, amazing how-to book that's online for everything that you might imagine. You can there's stuff on there, how to replace your hard drive, how to do 3D printing, how to tie a tie, how to tie shoelaces. I bet you didn't know this. There's a website out there, not ehow.com. Maybe it is there. There is a website out there with like 500 different knots that you can tie your shoelaces in. The way you tie your shoelace right now is not likely to be the most effective way at all We get the standard way that we were taught when we were little kids. There's a slight change that actually makes that even better. But that's beside the point. How do you change the oil on your car, your motorcycle, or whatever? They've got that there on ehow.com. How to write an article. Yes, that's right. You can find a how-to article on writing how-to articles on ehow.com. Believe it or not. There's also something called joesgoals.com. Joe apparently had a bunch of goals, and he said, you know what? I need to share this concept with a lot more people. I don't know the backstory on it. All I know is you put your goals in a calendar, and you can track your progress. You can track that movement that you make towards those goals, and then you can also share those goals with your friends. It's quite an amazing setup there that they've got. And I will tell you, part of any of this, part of it improving your life, is going to be setting goals. It's going to be moving forward, tracking everything that you're dealing with. Sometimes it's going to be a matter of getting involved with our health, getting involved with our nutrition. There is a website called fitday.com. This is another one of those lifestyle improvement websites. There's all kinds of data there, which allows you to figure out nutrition. You can put in serving sizes and all of the different ingredients and stuff, and you can get nutrition information back. Again, they also have a whole arrangement of setting goals, tracking your progress, making a journal, all of this. This is... We all have these different things where we want to get from point A to point Z. Yeah, there's point B, C, D, E, F, G. It's a road. If you're going to drive across country, you don't do it overnight. You don't do it straight. You're going to stop along the way. And as a matter of fact, if you're driving across the country, at least do some like vacation kind of stuff along the way. You know, you're starting in, I don't know, you start in California. You start moving on across the country towards the East Coast, and you stop at the Grand Canyon. Sure. There's this just crater that's out in Arizona. It's out past, from where I'm sitting, out past the Grand Canyon, and it's a big, huge meteorite, actually. Meteor. A big, huge. It's monstrous. You look across, it's like 2 miles across. It's amazing. So we set those goals. We move from point A to point B to point C and so forth. And of course, we've got to do that in time. There's another website, basecamp.com. And this is more of a group concept. It's team building. It's working together to really achieve your goals. And they do a number of different things along with that. What they do is, this is built for more of highly productive groups of people. So they set up things like real-time chat and people checking in on different things. And they do still have the to-do lists, but they also allow you to store documents there. So everybody on the team can find what they need without having to say, hey, anybody know where this is, where that is, and so forth? Now, this is more of a business one. It's more of a different kind of concept, but it's still important. It's still one of those things which, yeah, that can come in pretty good. And what's really neat is this is set up for a nice basic price. It is that one's a price thing. Some of these are going to have prices associated with them. The neat thing I saw with that one was that you're not charged per user. Your entire group is all one flat price altogether, no matter how many people you've got. And I like that. I wish more companies would do it in that direction. Here's another one, MakeMeSustainable.com. Make Me Sustainable. I'll read all of these back here in a moment. And that's a green site. And the concept there, it's just a matter of you and I being more eco-friendly. And there's a social networking aspect with a number of these. You make an account, you get tips, you get rankings. And again, you're working on your life improvement. So let me go through those websites once more real quick. the key ones: lifehacker.com, biblegateway.com, HGTV, that's Home and Garden Television, ehow.com, joesgoals.com, fitday.com, basecamp.com, and makemesustainable.com. And then, of course, there's one more website. One more that I just have to throw in here because I don't throw it in enough. And that is, of course, computertalkradio.com. I couldn't resist that. Maybe I should have. They say temptation is, never mind. Anyways, check them all out. Check out all of those, and maybe you'll find something there that will help you improve how you are dealing with all of the clutter, whether it's physically or mentally or whatever it is that's enveloped your life. This is Benjamin Rockwell. I'll be back in just a moment.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. If you have any questions for us, any comments, anything that you need help with in regards to your computers or technology, go to computertalkradio.com, fill out the contact information. Just scroll down. It says contact us. Fill it all out, and we will get back to you, generally within about a day or so. Marty Winston joins me now here on Computer Talk Radio. And Marty, one of the things we talked recently about was a matter of the power protection as far as battery backups and stuff like that. And I was wondering if you were doing anything special to protect your 40-year house. You can't be running a bunch of these power strips all over the place, surge suppressing power strips. You'd go broke just going on down to the local Home Depot, and I'll take 3 cases of those.
I sent my monthly check on cube taps.
Yeah. What are you doing to deal with surges?
I'm very, very sensitive to surges. When I first moved to Aiken, South Carolina, there was a lightning storm. A bolt of lightning hit one of the really tall trees behind the house next to ours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I had about 20 things in the house fry.
Oh, ouch.
And that is despite the fact that there are no overhead wires here.
Okay.
Everything's buried, but most of the damage came in through the cable modem line.
Okay. All right.
And then transited across the rest of the house through the cable wiring and got in the back door.
Wow.
Since then, I have a lot of UPSs here.
Yes.
Most UPSs have pass-through connections that are surge protected.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there are no more lines in the house that don't go through one another. But it was certainly on my mind in working through the 40-year house plan, and we're doing a bunch of things. The UPSs there have innate surge protection. I have additional surge protection for devices that don't need UPS backup but need to be plugged into power, and those have between 8 and 14 outlets per rack bar. So that is very, very helpful. In addition, Eaton is providing the breaker box and also providing whole house surge protection on the electrical lines.
Nice.
And
okay.
we're not done yet. Steel conduits throughout the house. Separate runs for the AC wires and the low voltage wires, primarily
Okay.
DC.
Yeah.
So we will have essentially grounded shielding within the house surrounding the wires. If there were to be an electrical surge event that got to something, it would not pass far before it sparked to the ground.
Okay. Wow. That's just amazing. You know, let me take a detour real quick. So, because this popped into my head recently, I was thinking about cable modems, and I don't even know if there's a surge suppressor for the cable coming into the house. Is that
I can tell you from the
aware of?
ones that fried that there is not.
So you went and you looked for nobody makes anything to protect the cable modem?
Well, the cable modem cable,
Yeah.
I'm not sure anything can protect. It comes in as a coax, and you can't do anything about that. But the cable modem WAN connection, you sure as heck can do something about.
Yeah, definitely on that side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really not a case. I mean, the cable modem is now plugged into a surge protected UPS.
Yeah.
As in fact, there are two pieces to the cable modem because it's got VoIP service as well. But that entire cluster is UPS protected.
Uh-huh.
You have choices like house insurance.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Fair
don't
enough,
want to
yeah.
be making a whole bunch of $300 claims all at once.
Yes. So there's
ahead.
So there's basically that's a distinct issue for you. How much, if you've got any idea, how much would that be for after somebody's built the house to put their entire house on a surge protector?
Well, the surge protector itself is affordable. Some of them are. I'm not sure the pricing. I want to say somewhere between $100 and $300.
Okay.
But that's just the unit. In order to get it in, you end up doing rewiring on your entire electrical box.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a lot easier during construction, but you can retrofit it. It means moving some of the top breakers down.
Sure. So it's going to be one of those things where it's anything that we're talking about along the lines of the 40-year house or any house. It's just going to be easier when you're building the house to plan ahead for this. So
planning is such a never complete kind of task too.
Now on your lower voltages, your DC voltages, are you doing anything in regards to ensuring that those stay clean? No matter if it says 12 volts, it's always going to be a nice, precise 12 volts, or are you just...
Well, indeed, we're creating it from computer power supply units,
yes,
which are very well regulated, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And those computer power supply units are plugged into UPSs, both for consistent presence, even in the absence of power during an outage, but also because it gains surge EMI RFI protection through that. So
nice.
Electrical noise and motor noise and that stuff doesn't get through to the DC lines.
How much have you figured out how much you have in the way of amps that you're providing in that low voltage range?
No, because I have not yet figured out the mix of 5 versus 12. And that's going to take some experimentation as we get some more pieces in.
Sure,
I can tell you that each clusters will have either 2 or 3 units. They will either have just the UPS and a PSU, or they will have the UPS, a PSU, and a 100 megabit Ethernet switch, also plugged into the UPS.
Okay.
The Ethernet switch is how we connect the CAP devices, the ceiling-mounted smart Raspberry Pi sensor units.
Yes.
And because those needs are in common, it just made sense to run that together. So I can tell you that I'm figuring 250 to 300 watts, which is, 350, 400, 450 VA on the PSU and the UPS in each of those locations. And you can get that PSU for, $30, $35.
Yeah.
And you can get UPS for $50, $60. So it's really the least expensive possible way to get really good quality DC feeds.
That's distinctly a nice area that you're working in. There's a lot of different shortcuts that you can take with that.
And it's all so much more reliable than batteries.
Yeah, and that's something I got to ask you about on a future occasion about the batteries, because I know you're still going to be dealing with batteries.
No, I'm not.
Not at all?
No, just everything that needs a battery gets hardwired with the feed.
So no batteries, everything's hardwired. Wow. That's
batteries
nice.
Not included.
Batteries not needed. That's beautiful.
Yeah, batteries disincluded.
Oh wow, Marty! This entire project, it continues to just amaze me. All of the different things that you're thinking ahead on, you're planning ahead, and this is something that I will tell you. I've seen people who are engineers that are working on major projects, and they don't think through all of the different details that you've thought through on this. The website for this is 40yearhouse.com, 40yearhouse.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. That is where you can contact me. Just scroll down just a short little way where it says contact us, and we will get back to you. There's a number of ways to contact us. Check it all out online. Again, computertalkradio.com. One of the things I wanted to talk for just a few moments about was this concept that we continue to have in regards to spelling, in regards to grammar, in regards to all of our communication via the written word. It seems with autocorrect, with all of the different spelling correction tools that are available at our fingertips, whether it's Microsoft Word or we're dealing with a website, some of the browsers have spelling correction built into them, Yahoo Mail, Google Mail, etc., all Gmail, of course, Hotmail. We're moving away from a literate society. I mean, yes, we're functionally literate, but that means that we also wind up with that concept that, we have people that are functionally illiterate. We're functionally literate, But does that mean that we're fully literate? Does that mean that we are able to spell the common words that we have used for our entire lives? We are slowly degrading in our ability to communicate while we're upgrading at the same time. I'm amazed that when my son was going through school, there was a lot of work that was done, and they said, we want them to just write. We want them to put the stuff down on paper. We don't care right now and for a while if their spelling is correct or if their grammar is correct or not, of course, in either case. And that has continued. Now, my son wanted it to be correct. He had not really an OCD kind of personality in that regards, but there are people that never catch on to the fact that we really need to do that. You may be asking why. Why? If the message is gotten across, if the message is transmitted from the sender to the recipient, does it really matter? I know that along the way there are times when I use improper terms and improper grammar. Gotten, I'm not even sure that's a word. I just said that a moment ago. We need to be working, however, we need to be recognizing all the way along whether we are fully, properly communicating with the people around us. What good does it do if we sound like we've got a third grade education? Or we've got an entire generation that is slid backwards. I go and I read some of the stuff that people have written a matter of decades ago. It is astounding to me to read something like the Federalist Papers. You go back and you read some of that and you're going, these guys were brilliant. I mean, beyond the fact that the material within the Federalist Papers is brilliant material. It's the founding of our country, and it's all about how we started off our country and what our founding fathers intended in regards to all of these different areas, whether it be the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all of that stuff. They put that all together. But then we get people who wander along today and everything has been shortened. I mean, yes, we can blame Twitter for some of that. You've got 140 characters. You've got to make your entire message fit in that. And heaven forbid that you might actually send it in 2 Twitter messages, 2 tweets. No, we can't do that. We have to fit it all in one. Or the Facebook messages, or our text messages. I find myself at times shortening up these words and changing how I'm talking to accommodate this. And it actually scares me. One of the things I've been doing recently is I've been learning sign language, American Sign Language, and I have realized there is a great amount of value in our communication abilities. There is a reduction in the amount of vocabulary that is there within the deaf community. I don't know how much, but there are a lot of words that pretty much mean the same thing, and you've got multiple options sometimes for some of these words as well. And that creates for a very interesting dialogue. But they're all pretty much similar. It's all pretty much the same kind of, it's getting the message across. But at times it lacks some of the richness of our vocabulary. Our ability to communicate is perhaps a little bit stifled because we are, again, trying to compress it down for time, for speed, for all of that. Am I getting down on the deaf community? Am I bagging on them? No. I don't want you to misconstrue anything that I'm saying here to say that these guys don't have it all together. Believe me, they've got it really together. They also have no problems with being very blunt, with being very direct. Some of the communication that happens within that community is absolutely really amazing and astounding, because they don't have time to sit there and to formulate some of the niceties. Okay, yeah, I mean, sometimes it may come across a little bit rude. It's not really intended. But it's a matter of they want to communicate a message so that somebody else can communicate a message, and it takes a lot longer to form these words and sentences and so forth. But yet, still, that's due to, yes, they're deaf, and it takes longer for them to communicate. Should we really be joining in with them when we have the ability to do things through posts on Facebook or somewhere else, versus these brief moments on, yes, Twitter, 140 characters? This is Benjamin Rockwell, and you're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com. computertalkradio.com. All right, so Steve, you already know what's going to happen. I'm going to just throw a question at you. What is the advance in technology that bugs you, that frustrates you, that just drives you up a wall the most? What do you think we've invented or come up with in technology that just people should have known better, they just should have thought better, and maybe we just need to eliminate it completely?
That's a tough one.
Hey, they're not always easy.
I know. Any one particular one that they should not have done?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more that I should say that in hindsight they probably should have waited and did a little bit more research before they put it out there.
Okay.
And they did afterwards, and they fixed it.
You're talking Windows 8.
I'm not talking about anything particular. Windows 8, I don't care.
All right, I couldn't resist
go back
that.
to Windows 98 if you want.
Sure.
Same deal there.
Yeah.
The first versions were not the best in the world.
Yeah, very true.
I like the concepts of a lot of different things that they put out there.
Mm-hmm.
And more often than not,
yeah,
it's not the item, or I should say, not the use that they actually wanted it for in the first place, that they find that it really works the best for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say I don't have any one particular item out there, because there's a lot of them that, for instance, they wanted to do this with it, but yeah, whoa, wait a minute here. It's better for it if we do it over here.
Uh-huh.
I mean, 3D printing, when it first, concept-wise, was just to go out there and to recreate these little parts.
Well,
Fine,
yeah.
no problem. But now they've taken that idea, which, okay, when it first came out, it was hey, fine. but it didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. But through the refinements, through the innovations, through the extra work they put into it over the years, now this kid who doesn't have any hand or doesn't have any fingers gets a 3D printed hand, artificial hand that he can use, that he's proud of, and it's made specifically for him.
Yeah. That's an inspiring story.
It's inspiring, but it also is a situation where you have to understand that the technology in itself, yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. It's what you do with it once it's out there.
Okay.
Okay? And that, because, hey, we do a 3D printed of a gun. Now, that's not too happy. And you can actually fire it once. Yeah, that's not too cool either. And you can do this and that with it. And it's not the technology itself that makes it good or bad. It's what we as human beings do with it.
Sure.
And that's my point of view.
Okay.
I dig into technology all the time.
Well, going down the road of the 3D printer, with some of these things, I guess you're right. A matter of we see something, and the 3D printer, when I first saw the concept of it, I was excited. I had no idea what I would print with it. I had no idea what I would do with it. I still don't have any idea what I would do with it around my home. Up until about a week ago, I said, you know what? If I had one, I could print up this, which I do need this particular part, and I've got a friend who's got a 3D printer, and I'm going to ask him to print it up for me. There's no point in my going on out and buying a $1,000 3D printer for myself to print this one part, which is a one-time thing. But it's still one of those things that as we move forward, we're going to start seeing new, exciting directions. We're going to be able to. This is my looking off into the future. We're going to be able to print replacement parts for whatever it is that we want, that is part of something we've already bought. And this particular piece with inside this particular whatever, I'll just go over to the 3D printer, type it in, go, okay, I need this, who's it, what's it, part number 14B3D7, and let's make it out of this material, and it'll just do it. So
yeah. And there's always one piece of information that I always talk about when I talk about technology and how good or how bad it is.
Uh-huh.
How inclusive is it?
Okay.
And what I mean by inclusive, I used to work for a software company that was a little bit short-sighted in their way of thinking, only because they didn't have the capital to do it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But they were more, shall we say, selective in who could use their particular software. And it was driven because they didn't have the capital to put it out for just everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I say is inclusive. And they were saying, but we're going to go out and do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to be on the cutting edge of technology. And I said, that's great. But what about the guy down here and the local shop way down over here that can't afford to do anything but use their own hard drive?
Yeah.
And being able to load it onto their computer.
Sure.
And if you don't include them, then you're being non-inclusive.
Got a very good point there. This is Benjamin Rockwell. That's Steve Keske. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. SITE ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. So I recently got a brand new computer, and one of the things that I did when I was going through and I was upgrading, and I moved everything over from the old computer to the new computer, and after I finished off all of the transition from one computer to the next, I put the new computer into its place. I pulled the old computer out, and it stayed out for a matter of about a week before I moved it off into a different direction, and we're going to reuse that computer, of course. But one of the things that I did at the same time was that I went through all of the cables that I have going to my computer, what is now the brand new computer, and I made sure that every single one of them was in use. And if it wasn't in use, I pulled it out. I removed it. It's a house cleaning. It's a spring cleaning. Well, okay, fall cleaning. But I removed all of the extra stuff out. Why? Because it doesn't need to be there. I also took just a little bit of extra time, and I worked to make sure that everything was run nice and neat, very clean. It's important. We should all be doing this on a regular basis. Part of my spring cleaning, I imagine, should include the idea of untangling and organizing and just making it all look a lot better than just this big, huge, giant mess of cables everywhere and the thumb drives scattered all over. Yeah, it was it was kind of ugly, actually. I was amazed at how much of a slob I had become because there was a lot of stuff hidden back behind my monitors. Okay, things had fallen there, and things had, because I do have shelves up above the monitors where things can drop right in and fall in there. And yeah, that's not really the greatest thing we should ever have. But it was there. That's what happened. And I want to encourage you to think about different ways to organize your cables, to organize whatever is cluttering the area behind your desk. It didn't take but a little bit of time. There are neat little things you can do. If you want to use zip ties, that's an awesome choice. It's a little permanent when you do that, semi-permanent. You can just grab more zip ties and you cut the old one out. Try not to do them too tight. You don't want to cut into the cords. You can do those little wire wraps, the wire wraps that you get when you're in the produce area to wrap up the plastic bags. The bread clips also work kind of nice to hold a couple of smaller, thinner cords together. Those actually work great for winding those iPhone power cords and stuff like that. But binder clips, probably one of the greatest tools I've ever had available to me. You take the binder clip, you just clip it onto the desk or a part of the desk or whatever, and then you use those two little metal hooks. You can squeeze those and pop those out, and then put cables in that little hole. Those cables aren't going to slip through. That is one of the just amazing tricks. I can't take credit for that. Somebody else thought that up, but I enjoy it. I use that, and it's really awesome. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.